Good evening and welcome to Image Builders Present a Conversation with Michael Carson. I'm your host, Michael Carson. Thank you so much for tuning in tonight. We have a great show again lined up for you. If you are watching us via Facebook, make sure you comment, click the like button, and share with others that we are on the air tonight. If you are watching us via YouTube, make sure you also comment, make sure that you subscribe and click that the bell so that you'll be notified when our next broadcast is. Typically, we're here every Thursday night at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, bringing you just a variety of people, a variety of guests, a variety of opportunities and ways that you can support other organizations, and so that you can be engaged and informed about what's going on in and around Atlanta, in and around your community. And some of our guests, by the way, are not just Atlanta based, but they provide opportunities for you to support them wherever you are. Tonight, if you are watching and you're one of those that watch all the time, because a number of you do watch, but you don't say anything, tonight you want to ask a question, because we have a limited number of Butterball turkey gift certificates that we're going to give away to individuals who post a question in the comment section. You have to pose a question. If you don't pose a question, you won't qualify for that certificate. Again, there's a limited number, so you want to go ahead and make sure that you ask your question. Tonight's guest, I'm pleased to welcome to the show tonight, which is part 2 of our series, A Season of Giving. We wanted to highlight some organizations that are doing some fantastic things in and about the community. And I have 2 fantastic ladies on the show tonight. They represent United Way of Greater Atlanta, my friend and my advisor in some respects, Miss Lydia Glaze. So glad that you're with me tonight. It's a pleasure to see you and a pleasure to have you on the show. And Vanessa, is it Roussel?
It's Roussel.
Roussel. And I apologize. Her name is spelled Russell. And I looked at it, her bio today, and I'm like, oh my God, we didn't get it right. So I apologize for that, Miss Roussel. Thank you so much for joining the platform tonight. So the first question I ask all of my guests is, tell us who you are, not what you do, not who you're affiliated with, not about your husband, your kids, but who is Miss Lydia and who is Miss Vanessa?
Wow. First of all, I want to say thank you, Mike, for allowing United Way to be represented tonight. My esteemed colleague, Miss Vanessa Roussel, I'm so honored to be on with you. And who am I? I'm Lydia Glaze. I'm 60 plus. I'm the mother of 7, adult children, 5 grandchildren. I'm originally hail from the great state of New Jersey, born and
Okay.
raised in Trenton, New Jersey, educated in northern New Jersey, and I have been in Atlanta now 39, almost 40 years. My roots are Southern roots. Mom from Alabama and dad from Georgia. So it was
Wow.
always my desire that once educated and ready to get to the workplace, that I would do that in Atlanta, that I would meet the man of my dreams and have
Okay.
my family here. And God did grant all of that.
Excellent. Excellent. What about you, Miss Vanessa?
Well, I am from New Orleans, Louisiana, a native there, product of the public school system there, an only child, but with great family ties. My passion is reading. Uh, I'm an avid reader. I'm a swimmer. I love to travel. I've been all over the world. I've only missed one continent, and that's on purpose
Wow.
because I don't like cold weather. So I didn't go to Antarctica, but I've been everywhere else, and I've enjoyed it thoroughly. Learning different cultures, meeting different people, and just happy about life and glad to be here. And thank you so much for having me here
Well,
tonight.
well, thank you guys again. Miss Vanessa, we have to talk about the swimming. Just I want to deviate a little bit. So are you like a Phelps type swimmer, or are you a shallow water swimmer? What type of swimmer are you?
I don't know what style it is, but my mom was a swim instructor. So from the
Okay.
time I was born, I was in the water. So I had to learn to swim, even though my mom told me I was a little retarded because I didn't learn it right her way
Hmm.
until I
Hmm.
was 13, even though I'd been in the water since birth. But
Okay.
I love swimming. American crawl, butterfly, backstroke. That's
Wow.
me.
Wow. Excellent. Not too many African American people swim. So
Yeah.
that's why, and oftentimes you don't hear people talk about their being I would say, a seasoned swimmer and someone who's been swimming for such a long time. So thank you for sharing that. My mother wouldn't let us near the water because of our too many friends and family members pass away as a result of water, drowning,
Mm,
boating accidents. So it's, and in black community, it's like taboo
yeah.
to get near the water. But I love the water. I love the beach. So I'm in it, and I appreciate
Yes,
that. Both
absolutely.
of you guys have really impressive resumes. So how is your commitment to service over the years, both professionally and in private? How's that shaped who you are today, as as professional women and as women who are giving back to your community?
Vanessa, you
Well,
want to go first?
sure. I started my career in telecommunications and worked in that area for 28 years and decided I wanted to do something different, even though I had a little hiatus there because a little thing called Hurricane Katrina came along. And I had to work with my family and help them out and make sure that they were safe and comforted. So for several years, I became a caregiver for my mom's oldest sister, who was an octogenarian. And once I'd taken care of her and she went on to glory, I decided to enter a different career. And I wanted to do something that would help people and just do something different because I had been blessed so tremendously in my life. I wanted to be a blessing to others and to try to help where I could. So that's how I got into the nonprofit area. And United Way was not my first nonprofit, but
Mhm.
it was where I landed the longest. So, and I'm so grateful to be here, to be in a position to do the work that I do.
Excellent. Lydia, how is serving others shaped who you are professionally and what you want to do as a professional and in the private sector?
Well, I'll start in private in the home. Um, as a 7-year-old, my mom and dad divorced. My mother had some mental issues. I was the oldest girl, and so I became caregiver for my 3 younger siblings and a major helper in the house for my mom, and that continued and probably continues to some extent today. And so in my community, as I got older, I became an advocate in my community and joined our mayor's first youth program and represented the city of Trenton. He had one African American, one Hispanic, and one white. And I was that African American. And we went around the country talking about youth issues and helping to resolve youth issues in our city. And then when I went on to college, I continued in student government. I was first African American um, and student government leader at Seton Hall University, and lifted up student advocacy and rights that were relevant at that time. And once I graduated from graduate school, I moved to Atlanta and I started in with IRS. I was an auditor, and we helped initiate all of the retirement plans throughout the country. There was a new act called DEFRA Act, and we
Mhm.
were trying to make sure that retirement plans were not robbed by corporate greed and that money would be there. And after getting married and having children, I wanted to make sure that I was available to my children and not working 80 hours a week. So I
Mhm.
went and actually chose another passion and went into education. And there, being there for 20 years plus, um, helped start the first charter school in Fulton County
Okay.
and was a board member there, and then went into the private sector and was director of college and career guidance at Landmark Christian School. From there, I went into public service as an elected official in the city of Fairburn as a
Mhm.
municipal leader, and then connected with United Way as the labor liaison to the labor community for the last 3.5 years. And the core through all of that was serving
Mhm.
others and helping others thrive
Mhm.
where they were, where society was actually, I think, not doing our best to make sure that everybody had the opportunity um, to thrive and to be an engaged citizen. And so that work has been prevalent throughout my life.
Excellent, excellent. Miss Vanessa, you're, as I understand it, the marketing. You have the marketing background. So, how is the United Way differ from other nonprofit organizations?
For one thing, United Way is a convener, and we bring other groups together that might not ordinarily come together. So that's
Mhm.
one thing. We're an advocate on behalf of those that can't advocate for themselves, and we're a collaborator. So that's one of those are the three things, I guess, that make us unique in the community. And we collaborate with all kinds of different groups, whether it's business, the faith-based community, education, government. We individuals, we work with all of them to try to do the best job that we can in helping the community we serve.
So, when you talk about as a convener, and that was, I remember I work for a nonprofit now, and I know we had a partnership with United Way, and I'm not sure if we still do, but I never understood how the United what the United Way's role was. It was like, do you give to United Way? So they give to others? Well, so how do you guys determine? Because I know there's four priorities on your website. But how do you determine where the money's going to go? Who's going to get money? How do other NGOs play a part? Play a role in how you determine who's going to get what, and the resources and stuff that you bring in, the monies and other things that you bring in. Whomever wants to answer that question.
So I'll jump in.
Okay.
Um, a convener is just that. We actually raise the funds. Um, so I'll just give, for example, over the last 24 months, we've raised over $44 million
Wow.
with the partnership of community of Community Foundation of Greater Atlanta.
Mhm.
With that 44 million, we had over 400 nonprofit partners that
Mhm.
we call boots on the ground. Those are the
Mhm.
folks who get the money to those who are have food instability,
Mhm.
or insecurity, housing instability, um, healthcare needs, mental health needs, education. And so we actually give grants to
Okay.
organizations that meet the needs of those particular areas that we're focused on.
Okay.
And Vanessa has been one of our regional directors who works directly with a lot of these partnerships and who have boots on the ground, who actually deliver the services. So,
Mhm.
Vanessa, would you like to just add to some
Yeah,
of that?
I would just say that in addition to it, we have a rigorous grant process that we use to determine who gets the money and how much. It's based on the need and whether or not how they can grow and capacity build, what
Mhm.
kind of systems integration is needed or is there that can be capitalized on. And with that, we have over 200 partners that we
Okay.
work with on a regular basis. And we have 2 rounds of grants that are based on existing relationships. And then we'll have a 3rd round of grants, a 3rd round that is open to anybody can submit an application to receive funding from United Way. My primary role with United Way is a fundraiser working with companies that do
Mhm.
workplace campaigns and helping them with their employees to learn about United Way, learn what we do, how we do it, and where the money goes, and the impact that we're having in the community. And I have to say, as Lydia did, that we had a really COVID, threw everybody for a loop.
Right.
But we got in there with the Community Foundation of Greater Atlanta, and in a very short period of time raised a lot of money that helped the metropolitan Atlanta community. And to date, we have, through 8 rounds of grant funding for COVID, we were able to deliver over $28 million back into the community to help with small business support, food insecurity, housing, education, healthcare, all the things that make a community successful. Childcare was a major issue for people that
Right.
were working. How am I going to have my child secured? And so
Mhm.
we stepped in and stepped up and wanted to make sure that our community had somewhere to go when they needed help the most.
So if I'm a small nonprofit and I want to connect with the United Way, should I partner or collaborate with another partner of the United Ways, or should I reach out to the United Way directly? How does that work?
I would say you could do both. On our website, when you go on the website, there is a form that if you want to become a
Mhm.
partner of United Way and you're not currently a partner, where you can fill that form out to let us know that you're interested. And then in that open round of grant making that's coming along, if you're not a current partner, you can fill that out and we will follow up with you to let you know when that open round of grant making opens up and becomes available.
Okay, and the United Way of Greater Atlanta, what counties does that, what territory does that encompass?
It serves the 13 counties surrounding metropolitan Atlanta: Gwinnett, DeKalb, all of Fulton, Rockdale, Fayette, um, Butts, Douglas, Cobb. Who did I miss,
Henry,
Lydia?
Henry,
Henry.
Mhm. So are you
Cobb,
so
got it.
so are United Way Atlanta, Greater Atlanta, are your priorities different from United Way, say of, you know, Chicago or Chicagoland area? Are the priorities the same or are they different?
They're different in that we look at our local community and try to determine what the needs are in the local community. We're the same from the standpoint that our mission is to help people, and we help people by raising money, but the specific issues may not exactly be the same. But the major pillars are education, income,
Mhm.
healthcare, housing. So I think most United Ways look at those things because those are the things that plague society the most and cause the most distress and anxiety among people in the community.
Lydia, why is labor important with respect to what United Way seeks to accomplish, and how is labor engaged with United Way?
And so I'll just help a little bit more unions. So we're talking about
Okay.
union labors, right?
Okay.
So I'm just going to throw out a couple of corporations. Georgia Power
Mhm.
is a labor shop.
Mhm.
Um, Delta has pilots who are part of a labor union. Um, UPS is a part is a union shop, the Teamsters, and so labor is a little over 13.1 million in the United States. That's a huge number, and
That
those
is.
specific employees give to United Way. They actually are some of the largest givers to United Way and the companies that they work for that match their
Mhm.
giving. And so, with that, there's been an 80-year standing relationship and partnership
Wow.
between labor unions and United Way Worldwide. It
Right.
started in the 1940s, and so the work that we do together is we help raise income for investment in those areas. We also do partnerships for programming in communities. We
Mhm.
build up working families and the collaboration to connect back to communities to help them thrive in areas in which they need help, such as
Mhm.
education, job skills building, food insecurity, housing instability. So there has been a long-standing relationship with labor unions and the work that we do. They are our advocates with us, and they are volunteers with us as well as investors. So it's a long-standing mutual relationship. We have a standing MOU, and I do want to shout out to AFL-CIO. They have a
Yep.
new CEO and president,
Yep.
first female, Liz Schuler, and United Worldwide has
Okay.
its first female president and CEO, Angela Williams. And so at the head of these two great organizations now are women.
Yeah.
So we're excited about the great work that we're going to continue to do together. After 80 years, we now have two women heading both of these great organizations.
Wow. This show has gone by rather quickly. If you're watching or if you tuned in for the first time, you're tuned in to Conversations with Michael Carson. And tonight, our guest is United Way of Greater Atlanta. And we at the bottom of the screen, there's a ticker that's scrolling across. If you go to their website, you'll find how you can give. We're going to put up, I'm going to put something on the screen shortly to also help you understand why it's important for you to give. But can both of you or one of you talk about United for More? What is that campaign, and why should, how can we, get involved with that campaign?
Well,
So, Vanessa, if you would take Unite for More, and then I'll take our rebuilding plan.
okay. Unite for More is our marketing campaign
Mhm.
to simply say that when we work together, we can accomplish more. So, the more people that we work with, the more agencies that we work with, the more uh, nonprofits that we work with, when we work together, we are a very powerful organization uh,
Mhm.
worldwide. So our intent is to involve as many entities, individuals, whoever, to get involved in helping the community thrive. My area of responsibility is for South Fulton, DeKalb, and Gwinnett counties. South Fulton is we embarked on child well-being a few years back, and we came up with a scoring system that helps
Mhm.
us to direct our funding more specifically in the areas that need it the most. South Fulton had the second lowest score out of the 13 counties. The
Mhm.
only county that had a score lower was Clayton County, and the index is on a scale of 1 to 100. South Fulton's score was 39.8.
Can I
Due to the
stop?
work,
Can I stop you there? Why?
sure.
Why is I live in South Fulton? So why is South Fulton score so low?
It's a number of things. We have 14 indices that we look at, Michael.
Mhm.
And in almost every one of them, South Fulton was not doing as well as they could do. And the things that we look at are not, it's not rocket science. Is, can a child read at the third grade reading level if they're in third grade? Right. Can they do eighth grade math? What's the high school graduation rate? How is the housing situation, housing stability? Are families financially stable? Healthcare, just basic needs kind of stuff. But the scores in South Fulton were lower. And so one of the things we want to do is raise money and pump it into those areas that we call our red zones, red and orange zones, to improve those areas. And I'm proud to say that when we launched Child Wellbeing, South Fulton's score was 39.8. Over the course of working it for a couple of years, the score improved to 42.1. So that tells me that we're headed in the right direction. Yeah. And with some of the rebuilding strategies that Lydia is going to talk about, education is a key pillar of that. We're looking at early learning, and we're looking at college and career readiness. And we're trying to make sure that those third graders, by the time they get to third grade, they are reading to learn and not learning to read, is our model. So we want to make sure that the parents are the first teachers that a child encounters. We want to equip the parents with the right tools before they even get to school. We want to make sure that the children have the tools that they need to sustain themselves, and with COVID, we've had a problem with summer learning loss as a result of not being able to be in the classroom. So with COVID, we're trying to boost that and provide the technology and supports that these children need. Same thing for college and career readiness. We want to make sure that as these kids are getting ready to graduate from high school, that they have the soft skills, that they know that if you're supposed to report to work at 8, that doesn't mean showing up at 8:30 with an excuse. That means you need to be there at 8 o'clock ready to be productive. So we want to provide the support, the mentoring, the digital support, the technology support to help the students and their families to be successful.
Excellent. And before Lydia, before you talk about the other part of that, I know we used to really be concerned about the summer achievement gap for kids. Now that COVID has happened, it's not just the summer anymore. I mean, there could be years lost, and so you guys are, based on your priorities with the things around education and our children. What are there talks about? How do we rebound from that? Other than just, I know we need money and to put money into it, but are we talking about other strategies to rebound from that? Because I just fear that there's so many kids, particularly kids of color, who are going to be impacted by that, and you just can't get back a whole year, 1 or 2 years, and going through a program or something. So
in the case of each one of our investment priorities and our major strategies with each priority. For strong learners, for example, we have 5 things that we focus on: building the reading skills, strengthening the family engagement, securing housing and basic needs. Because we know that, you could do all the teaching you want to do, but as the teachers tell me, if a child is hungry and their stomach is growling, they can't focus, they can't learn. So we need to make sure that those basic needs, housing, food, shelter, and clothing, are also available to them, that they have adequate health care, and that they have access to learning tools. So those are the 5 key strategies that we work with in terms of strong learners. Similar strategies are available in the area of college and career ready. We want to strengthen the academic support, make sure that students know who can help them, where to go to get that help. And the families do too, because especially if the kid is the first one graduating from high school, the parent may not even know all the applications and the forms that they've got to fill out. So how do I navigate that? So we're helping with that in terms of increasing college planning, and also, again, making sure that the basic needs are available to the students and their families.
Excellent. Thank you so much. Lydia, you wanted to talk about the other.
Yeah, I'll take the last 60 seconds and say that we had a COVID-19 recovery response and recovery plan. That plan now has moved on to a rebuilding plan. And that is a $10 million initiative that we need and that we're launching, and we've got 6 key areas. Vanessa has gone over our child well-being, strong learners, and college and career ready. But we have 4 other pillars in that, which are our economic stability, housing, stability, our capacity building for our partners who are now on the ground, who will be working with a lot of those students and families who have not just the summer slide, but the
Yeah.
slide of losing almost a year or more in the classroom because they were virtual learners. Some of them did not have adequate access to the internet to continue their learning. Also, debt relief. We have an issue now with the debt that has built up in our communities where people have lost their jobs, medical debt, uh, credit card debt, trying to live off of credit cards. That's an issue. And then mental health.
Yeah.
Mental health has now soared in our communities, BIPOC communities. So those are the 4 strategies and pillars that we're going to be working from with the new rebuilding plan. So what I can say to you is that, like never before,
Hmm.
and like more than ever, we have to work together. If
Mhm.
we continue leaving people behind,
Hmm.
whether they're in rural America, urban America, whether they're BIPOC or whether they're European background. If we continue to work from that paradigm, we're all going to have the negative reverberations of leaving parts of our communities behind. So we're better together. We can do more together. And it is important, if we're going to have an economic rebuilding in this country, it must have equity at its focus. And so our rebuilding plan is starting from the foundation of an equitable rebuilding of our communities and regions. I'd like to just um, response to just kind of repeat what Milton Little, our CEO, said in his last op ed. He said, "We are targeting interventions that help to permanently solve the persistent inequities in our communities."
I mean, that's such an excellent quote. I have 2 more questions if you guys indulge me. Um, Lydia, how does the Build Back Better um, bill and the infrastructure bill, how does that play a role in what you guys want to do at United Way? And are you able to receive any of those resources once they become available, whatever they'll look like by the time the Senate get to those bills?
So, well, of course, we hope that the Senate will go ahead and move through what the version that the House has already passed. In that is child care, it's job training, it's apprenticeship
Mhm.
programs. There's infrastructure for rebuilding in our communities, water, environmental sustainability, climate, addressing climate change, and education. So all of that is in the Build Back Better. And will United Ways throughout the country have opportunities to receive some of that funding? Absolutely. I'll tell you, we'll be able to partner with municipalities, counties, states through that funding
Mhm.
tool, just as we did with the city of Atlanta. When they received their CARES Act money and their ARP money, they actually partnered with us, the
Mhm.
United Way of Greater Atlanta, to get that money back into the housing community in Atlanta so that the eviction rate would be lower. So we kept about 8,000 families in their home and off the street because we partnered with the city of Atlanta, used their federal monies from the CARES Act and the ARP um, to make sure that that housing slide or that housing cliff through evictions, actually we stem the tide. And we're
Mhm.
so grateful for city of Atlanta. And we, even though there's new leadership, we believe that we'll be able to work with Mayor-elect Andrew Dickens and as we go forward.
Excellent, excellent. Um, you've been watching Conversations with Michael Carson. I've just had the pleasure of having two distinguished women on my show tonight from the United Way of Greater Atlanta. As you'll see on the screen, there's a way that you can give to United Way, and it says here, give to the Child Wellbeing Mission Fund to have a direct impact on improving the lives of children and families in South Fulton County. We want to make sure that you make it in this time of giving, you might not be able to get to, we can't get to Christmas parties, may not be able to get to other organizations and other ways to give, but United Way, you can go online, make a donation. It's important. You've heard about the excellent work they're doing. You heard about test scores and other things coming up. And you've also heard about how United Way of Greater Atlanta plans to give back to the community and help to advance the community and enrich the community. So it's a worthy cause and an opportunity for you to give back during this time. No donation, I'm sure, is too small, and I'm sure all amounts are accepted. So we definitely want to make sure that we invest, not just so that you feel good about it, but make sure that you do it so that you can invest in a child, invest in a child's future, invest in your community. It's an important thing for us to do, particularly as we look to give back to one another. We should give back to our community, especially give back to our community. So I only have one final question for my guest tonight, and that question is, who or what inspires you? We'll start with you, Ms. Vanessa.
Okay. I guess I was inspired by my mom and her two twin brothers. From when I was really, really little, my mom was a nurse. And of course, coming from New Orleans, there were always hurricanes. And my mom always volunteered to provide her services at the shelter. And of course, she dragged me along with her. So I learned from an early age a servant leadership mentality. My mother's twin brothers, they were the youngest in her family, and they went into education. And we were always taught we weren't rich, but that whatever we had to share with the community. So as teachers, I would see them go to school and take the shirt off their back and give it to a child who didn't have one. Wow. So we were always taught that, you may not have a lot, but whatever you have, you need to share with those who have less. And so that has motivated me and inspired me throughout my life.
Excellent. And you, Lydia?
Well, again, it's my upbringing. We were in a single parent home, and my mother was mentally ill, and so we had a lot of lack. And with that, we had we looked for a lot of opportunities to work and to thrive in our education, in our schools, and in our communities. With that at the base and the core of who I am, I continued to do that work. And while I was in college, while I was in my 20s and 30s and inside of my community, I worked on both sides with kids who had great needs and then with students who have more than enough. And I think it's the adequate thing, I think, is to teach both at the same time. To whom much is given, much is required. So the students that were with me for 8 years at Landmark Christian School, I started the Key Club. I started with the Kiwanis to say, hey, guys, you have more. We're going to teach you how to give. We're going to teach you how to go out into the community, find schools and kids and families that you yourself as a young person can help. And that I hope that you will learn the art of giving, the art of caring. And then for those who are in need, I want them to know that you have the ability to give. If giving is only helping and giving a good word, a kind deed, then that is what you can do. But there is nobody on this earth who has breath who cannot give something to make our society better. So giving is a part of my lifestyle. Serving is who I am. But I think all of us have that capacity, no
Yeah.
matter where we start, what we have, we are responsible to be our brother's keeper.
Excellent. Thank you, ladies, so much for joining the show. I'm forever grateful for your time tonight, for the work that you're doing. You encouraged me tonight, and you are two examples of just the best in our community and the best that I'm sure the United Way has to offer. So I thank you so much for joining the show tonight. For those of you who are watching, I'm not sure what happened with our comments section. I think it was hacked. Because on my end, I was seeing all kind of weird stuff, so I didn't even go into the comment section. But we'll find a way to distribute those gift certificates. I'll find a way. Just make sure you tune in. I'm going to go live tomorrow, and I'll give you a way to retrieve one of the gift certificates. Make sure you join us next week. We'll be back here at 7 p.m. on Thursday night with yet another opportunity and another way for you to give and support an organization who's giving back to our community. We'll be here next week at 7 p.m. Again, if you're watching us via Facebook, make sure that you comment, you like, and you share this live stream. And if you're watching us via YouTube, make sure that you comment, like it, and also subscribe and hit that bell. We really appreciate your support. We're going to close out. Next week is going to be our last show of the year, so we're going to close out with our Season of Giving series, and we're going to come back next month. Next month will be our 1-year anniversary, so I'm excited about it, and we're looking to even be better next year and bring you even more, even more guests and just the best people. We had the best people this year. We're going to bring you more good people next year. So thank you so much for joining Conversation with Michael Carson. Until next week, continued blessings.
Thank you.
Thank you, Michael.
Thank you for tuning into Conversations with Michael Carson. Join us here each Thursday night at 7 p.m. Eastern Time for engaging and insightful conversations. We hope you enjoyed the show. If you have not already done so, don't forget to click the share button on Facebook and the subscribe button on YouTube. The conversation doesn't stop here. Head over to Instagram and join us on Michael Carson Jr. starting shortly. See you soon, and until next time, continue blessings.